Alright folks, welcome to another lead with AmuLIT. This time around we're going to take the Impulse list for a spin. This is the list that won the challenge on Saturday. I think this card is very bad, but I'm down to giving it another shot. I actually gave it a shot like a year ago, and I was so disappointed by it that I never wanted to be even remotely close to this card again. But this list is actually built in order to maximize on Dryad, even though it goes halfway at doing so, which I think is also a mistake. I feel like this list, like if you are accepting the fact that you are like, okay, I think that Dryad is the best thing that my deck can do, so I want to make sure that I maximize the chances of me having Dryad, and when I have Dryad, I want Dryad to be as impactful as it can possibly be. So if you're going to go this route, I feel like you are just kind of half-assing it right now, and I think that you should just eat it up and just play Battlements instead of playing Sunhome and Slayer Stronghold. This allows you to either play some more cantrips in order to like see your Dryad more often, or it also makes it so whenever you resolve a Titan, you can haste your Titan, while maximizing your Dryad output damage. So I think that this list is not entirely well built. I think that it's just half-assed a little bit. So we're gonna be taking it from there. Those are my thoughts so far. I think this card is just unplayable though. I don't think this card is gonna be good. The sideboard is okay. Like this sideboard is probably like what I like the most about the list. I was muted. Why do you think it's half-assed? Because I think that if you wanted to go this way, you should just cut both of this and you should just play Battlements. Like if you are just accepting or you're just like you're just saying Dryad is the best thing that my deck can do, then you should lean onto it a little bit harder, and that would make room for another Impulse, so you see Dryad more often, or and it also makes room for maybe, I don't know if you want more Valakut, maybe that's not what you want to be doing, but you could at least play one more castle for sure. Battlements is just bad though, yeah, but I think that this is just bad. So what I'm saying is, like, you're building this list with a goal in mind, which is a good thing to do. You're building this list with a goal in mind that you're just saying, okay, I want to make it so Dryad is the best that it can be, but at the same time, you're not making Dryad the best that it can be. So that is the issue that I have with this list. But I'm still gonna play it as is, and we're gonna see how it goes. The secret to playing things like this is to go into it with a bad mentality, you know? So like I'm going into it thinking that Impulse is gonna be bad, so I'm either gonna be able to say I told you so, which always feels great, or I'm gonna be able to get out of this very pleasantly surprised, which is also great. So basically it's a win-win situation for me. I can't lose. It's just great. Have we really circled back all the way to Impulse? Not really. I just explained why not. That's a really good Inquisition though. What happened? Did I black out again? No, silent mode. Yeah, Adventurous Impulse made it back to modern. It's actually not bad. Now we do have a turn 1 play, which is great. I'm assuming that my opponent is going to be playing Shadow, but I'm obviously not sure. Back before Horizons when Canisters started playing it again. Would AmuLIT be playable if it costs 2? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe if AmuLIT were still legal, right? If you had like Amulet of Vigor and Bottle of Vigor, so you had both, and then you could play your 4 amulets, and then you could play like maybe 1 or 2 more of the other thing, but okay, that's not bad. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play Dryad. I'm gonna play this Naming Giant, and I'm gonna Impulse here because I think that the potential of finding land is more valuable than the amulet itself. I thought I'd had F6, but Moto is like, no, dude, do you want to attack with Gracer? Maybe you want to attack with Gracer. Yeah, it was gonna happen. Which card would they ban first? If they ban one, AmuLIT or Primetime? I'm just not gonna answer this question. It's not worth my time. With all due respect, of course, but it's not worth it. Also, what the hell are you doing, opponent? Do you have another discard spell? They have to have another Thoughtseize. Maybe Croxa? Croxa would make sense, I guess. I understand if your sympathy is slow, but is it something that you would consider, friend? I've tried it in the past, and I've never been particularly impressed by it. Do you think it's more enjoyable to play AmuLIT without Field of the Dead? It's fine. I enjoyed AmuLIT with Field of the Dead. I also enjoy AmuLIT without Field of the Dead. I just enjoy AmuLIT, period. You have perfect information, opponent. You literally know my entire hand. Why? Why are you doing that? No blocks. Okay. They literally had perfect info. Did it for the storm count, yeah. Sounds about right. I wonder if my opponent's playing Scourge. I guess I sideboard as if my opponent were playing Scourge. Do they bring in Wildfire against AmuLIT? I hope so. Because that card is terrible against us. But people love bringing it in. I think I'm doing this. How would I board differently if they didn't have Scourge? I would not bring in Obstinate Bailoff. Snapcaster Bolt MTG, thank you for the follow. Awesome. Awesome username. I'd rather stream one Explorer with Gracer. I don't agree. I think Gracer is just bad. It is an Inquisition Thoughtseize deck after all, right? They aggro you out for sure, but They usually have Ashiok, they have Lurrus, so they can't have Ashiok. Cut Grazers against Shadow. Yeah, I think that it's also... Grazers is often very... I don't cut them all. Because I just don't have enough cards to bring, because I don't like Dismember against Scourge decks. Also, they tend to be able to... They tend to be able to make Goyf grow way past... Ooh, now we can explore Poggers. They tend to be able to grow Goyf way past Dismember range. Am I excited for Old Border Primetime? Just don't play with my feelings, Spikes. Just don't play with my feelings. Don't be like that. Hey KZ, thank you for the follow. Why is everyone so high on the Old Borders? Because Old Borders are incredible. Old Borders remind us boomers of times where Magic was a simpler game, where damage went on the stack, where power creep was basically kept at bay for the most part. Such beautiful times. It is very much a boomer thing though. And I am very proudly a boomer. Like so proudly a boomer. The proudest boomer you'll find. Absolute proudest boomer you'll ever find. Miss the days when cards like Olivia get spoiled and it seemed like a power creep. I wasn't playing with Olivia was spoiled, but I can imagine that. We were talking about it on like Spell Snare, right? Spell Snare. The art of Spell Snare is a Watch Wolf being countered. And for those of you that don't know what Watch Wolf is, Watch Wolf was a 2-mana 3/3 with no downside whatsoever. This was power creep. I remember Ravnica had just came out, and I saw Watch Wolf, and I literally could not believe how they would make a 2-mana 3/3. That is so above rate. It's ridiculous. They fucked up is what I thought. Like, I can't believe they would print a card so powerful. Already, like, this card was expensive. This card was expensive, and I was playing it in my Zombies deck. This is back in Legions. Like, this card was just absurd back in the day. Like, a 2-mana 2/2, a perfectly on-rate card, and then you could pay 1 mana. Like, it was just a great ability. Pfft. This card was busted back then. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, okay, so Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt is what happened. Sounds acceptable. How about this guy? How about this guy? I guess I'm playing around some nonsense like Angrat's Rampage here. I basically only lose to TBR, right? And now I don't anymore. Yeah, Nakato was banned in Modern. 3 mana, 3/3 TV search a land and put it into the battlefield. Oh yeah, that would be about on par with the things that we've been seeing. If my opponent attacks here, I am going to block and block. And if my opponent has TVR, then they lose. They could have exactly Dismember, but that's fine. I'm okay with losing to exactly Dismember. TVR, yeah. Sweet, we win now. When I started, people complain about net decking. You'd be surprised at how much EDH players still complain about net decking. So every now and then I see people just like going off about it on like Twitter or whatever, and it's just like, you folks just have way too much free time. Primeval Dwarf. Back when I started, Gaia Skyfall was insane. Was that like the flyer? Indie31, thank you for the follow. Too many Gaia something. Gaia has so much stuff. Yeah, I remember this guy. This was back in Apocalypse. I mean, of course, we're going down memory lane, so let's go down memory lane. What the hell, right? 5 mana, 6/6. When it deals damage to a creature, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. You regenerate, and then you can change it. You can change the color. Call of the Herd. Holy shit! Like this one was a big deal. This one was a huge deal. This was a staple. This was a staple. Is it time? Is it time to explain why I like old bordered cards so much? I think it's time to showcase why I like old bordered cards so much. I think it's time to showcase. Yes. Yes. You love it. You love to see it. Yes. Basking Rodwalla. Hell yeah. Basking Rodwalla. Old Order. Speaking of. Total Tackle, thank you for the follow. Full playset of Mongrels. Aquamoeba. 2 mana 3/3. Virtually a 2 mana 3/3 with upside because it allowed you to counter stuff with Circular Logic for 1 mana, just for a single mana, or you could throw down 3 mana 4/4. Unreasonable. Unreasonable. Absolutely unreasonable. And don't get me started on 4 mana 6/6s. Don't get me started on 4 mana 6/6s, because this is just ridiculous. This is getting out of hand. Getting those dudes back for sure. Brand newcomer to the modern format. Only legal since Modern Horizons. And we were speaking about the old border tokens. Look at this. Look at this beaut. Look at this beaut. Look at this beaut. Alright. Enough of the trip down memory lane when Magic was a better game. Let's get started with this one. We're on the play, turn 3 Dryad, turn 4 Titan. Old border tokens are hotness. Yeah, I was showing the old bordered zombie. Got a wonder in there? I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. And you know what? Wonder even has an ability from the graveyard. Which I did love that they did do this. Like they reprinted Lingering Souls, and they did do this, so this is wonder. And back in the day when things had an ability from the graveyard, you had a little, I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but you see the little it's like a gravestone or tombstone or whatever it is. And they did it for the Lingering Souls. They made the Lingering Souls old border, and that is definitely a win. That is definitely what they did right about that card. The fact that they put the little gravestone in there. Am I gonna just keep a 0-lander? Am I dying on turn 2? Wait. I am very confused right now. Tiago Rodolfo, thank you for the follow. But they didn't have 6. Like they passed their first main phase, they went to their second main phase, and then they passed the turn again. So it wasn't like, usually when it's an F6, it's like you misclick on the F6 and it's just like, boom, your entire turn goes by and then it's the next turn. But that's not what happened. Like they went to their main phase, they passed through their main phase, they went to their second one, and then they passed again. I am very confused. And I guess it's okay. Gonna bring in Cavernous Souls here, and probably Pact of Negation. Like whether this is combo or control, I want to have access to Pact. And let's bring in a couple of trackers, maybe not all of them. I guess let's bring all of them. I'm assuming that we're playing against some control deck. My opponent just kept a 0-lander on the draw, expecting to get there for whatever reason. Yeah, if it's blue-white spirits, my Saturday is going to be a lot different, right? Like I don't want this, I want this, I want all 4 of these, I don't want these. My Saturday is going to be significantly different, of course, but I'm assuming that my opponent is in some form of control deck. Oath gets creature, land, or planeswalker. That's a fact. Do you see any planeswalkers in my deck? There are a couple of arguments, one way or the other. Argument number 1. Impulse doesn't get countered by Mausoleum Wanderer. Although, sometimes that's kind of an upside. The fact that Impulse gets countered by Mausoleum Wanderer is sometimes an upside because you want to use it as a pseudo removal spell. And with your opponent not knowing what your hand looks like, they don't know whether they should let that resolve or not. So sometimes it's a downside, sometimes it's an upside. But more often than not, it's going to be a downside that it gets countered. Number 2 is Oath of Nissa doesn't go to the graveyard, which matters for Goyf. The issue with that is that your opponent is going to have plenty of sorceries. So your Impulse, even though it goes to the graveyard, is not really upping your opponent's Goyf count, but Oath going to the graveyard does up your opponent's Goyf count. So sure, I'm feeling greedy. So I might end up copying my opponent's fountain over there. Tracker MVP here. If I can cast her. If I can find the green source, but obviously I did because I'm a luck sack. I'm gonna play around Ashiok by playing out the green source here. Was winning the reason was Goif. The main one is Goif. Yeah, the main reason is Goif. Ooh, Jeskai? Excuse me, what? Okay, so it has to be some form of combo deck. Okay. What do you got, opponent? What are you gonna do to me, opponent? Wait, are we playing only 4 fetchable lands and 2 fetch lands? Or just the 1 fetch land? We're playing 2 fetch lands with only 4 fetchables. Yeah, that can't be right. It could be Ascendancy. That's true. It could be Ascendancy. It could be something Directional Life related. I doubt it's a control deck because Seacrum Coast usually sucks in control decks and for good reason. Maybe I'm just wrong. Here's my tracker. Tracker just never solves. I'm into it. I'm into it. We're gonna get 2 lands? Wow. Two clues. Let's go. Just Sky Breach. If they're breaching an Emrakul, we just lose here, but what do you got? Jace the Mile Sculptor. I mean, we have Pact of Negation, so we can't really get punished for this. I mean, it can't really be removal, right? It's funny how we can actually haste here. This is pretty hot. This is pretty hot, actually. This is pretty hot, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie that it's pretty hot that we get to do this here. Really miss battlements? Why? Is this better? We swing for more. They can path prime time. We don't care. The Tireless Tracker kills their Jace. Find another land. Get more clues. Jace down. Seems like my opponent is in a troubling spot right now. Oh no, Classy Wildfire. Don't bring this card against AmuLIT. It's not very good. And now we get to draw a card off the tracker. Sweet. Running us out. Yeah, my opponent's definitely running us out of basics. And what are they achieving? And again, this is because I don't think that this deck is very well built. Like if our deck were properly built and we were playing 4 basics instead of just playing 3. Now we're tightening them next turn again. Like, I don't know what my opponent is expecting to do here. And our tracker is just gonna kill them too. Like we could have packed it to stop any of this, but it just doesn't matter. If they have Pact of Negation, we also don't care. Honestly, it was defensible. It was actually defensible to Pact for Dryad there, just so I can make more land drops faster. Even Azusa might have been an okay thing to go get there. Primetime is just better though. Someone go help opponent there in a bad place. Yeah, I mean, those were some tough decisions that my opponent had to make there. Which had you my 5-0 with Adventurous Impulse in your deck and making it into a league dump. 6 Declension. I don't make it into the deck list dumps. I think that Watsy has me blacklisted. Uh-oh. Playing against Nawel. I don't think I've ever beaten Nawel. Probably one of the best UR Prowess players in MTGO. Is this a better 6 years without impulse is better? I don't like this card. But we're trying it out, because that's what I do. We just started posting your results, you'll be banned in all formats. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. Imagine if one of these were an Azusa, for example, right? And instead I'm like doing this. There we go. I think we're gonna lose because of that. We also don't have explosives in our deck because we have impulses instead. So I think we're in a 0 outer at this point. I'm basically medical test for this point, except instead of drugs, it tests decks to have to save mental damage to the generator. Yeah, I just do a public service. I just do a public service. That's what I do. There's no way I get to survive here, right? And there's no way I get to Titan this turn. I can transmute, and if I transmute for a land, I get to play it. What if I transmute for Dryad? My opponent has a Swift Spear and a Burst Lightning, so this Azusa is toast. I'm also taking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If my opponent has nothing in hand, which is not particularly likely. We lost because we were playing this instead of another Azusa. Three, 4, 5, 5. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're one short. We get to transmute for Colony Garden. Does that do anything? We can pact and transmute for Dryad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we can't. No, we can't. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. No, we can't. Never mind. Okay. We're just gonna make the play that we can play. We can make. So I guess that I need to, if I'm gonna win this game, that includes me casting a Dryad next turn. So let's do this. I'll pass the turn. Yeah. Yeah, my opponent just has Lava Dart, so I don't know why I'm even thinking about this. We're not particularly well equipped for this matchup. I don't think we have the time to be fucking around with that stupid card. Let's go with this. Greasers and I'm speed them. Where are my spiders? Yeah, that's what I want to know. What is this sideboard? Okay. This one fucks. Persian Path looking mighty appealing. Yeah, I mean they're good against Prowess. I don't think that nobody's opposed to that. The issue that those cards have is that splashing in AmuLIT is very much not free. Very, very much not free. We're gonna be playing Misty first. to not give my opponent priority so they can interact with my Asusa. Now the question is do I want to play Blood Moon, or do I want to play around Blood Moon, or do I want to just play around being able to transmute some nonsense? I think the answer is I want to be able to play around transmuting. Last game we lost because nobody in the main. No, we lost because we had 2 impulses in hand. And if those impulses had been, one of them had been an Asusa, we would have been able to just play Asusa and develop our mana 1 turn earlier. But instead we had to spend our turn casting Impulse. Rurik Thar has... Honestly, I don't think Rurik Thar was ever really playable. Maybe during the KCI era. During the KCI era, maybe Rurik Thar was playable. But I think that Rurik Thar has the same issue that all of the Getcha cards have, right? Rurik Thar has the gotcha issue, like you feel smart whenever you get somebody with it, but in reality the card is just not that good and it's not worth a slot in your deck. Yeah, here we find ourselves in the situation that I was talking about earlier, where our deck is built to maximize Dryad, but at the same time it kind of isn't. We do have Crumbling Vestige though, so we do get to haste here, and we still are gonna be able to trigger Valakuts on the attack, but this is fine. Oh, we're gonna need Sakama, god damn it. Some memes are just way too strong, and they really never die. Rurik Thar was better than Titan in the matchups it was good in. That's just not true. And that's my point. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Usually what happened against Storm, for example, is you would play Rurik Thar, your opponent would Echoing Truth it, and then you would lose. Against Burn, like, people loved bringing in Rurik Thar against Burn, and I really think that all of those people who did just never played the Burn matchup ever. They never ever played the Burn matchup. It's not too slow. It literally lost you the game because it wouldn't allow you to come back. I don't know whether you're pointing against Storm. Like, the good thing is that you would forcing your opponent, right? Like, you were forcing your opponent and you were saying, okay, you need to have Echoing Truth in your hand right now. Yeah. The thing is that Titan doesn't say you need to have the answer. Titan says you can't win because you would just transmute for Pact of Negation and your opponent just couldn't win. So that's the point that I'm trying to make. Like, even when it was supposed to be good, like, it still wasn't as good as a Titan would be. Anyway, why is this hand so tempting, chat? Why is this hand luring me in? Why is this hand just luring me back in? Assuming your mana development allow you to just move for Pact. Yeah, but like that also is assuming, like, I'm not saying that it was bad, Pikes. I'm not saying that it was bad. I'm saying that it was okay in the matchups, but it wasn't as good as people made it out to be. And it was bad in a lot of the matchups that people would consistently say that it was good in. Like, people would bring it in against, like, Burn and stuff like that. And I'm just like, are you crazy? Like, that's just not how that matchup works out. It's just not what you're supposed to be doing because it's just going to backfire. But it had the same gotcha factor that we were talking about, right? Like, you're really... It feels good when you get your opponent. So you would... It's the same as bringing in Choke against a Dryad deck. It's the same thing. What am I doing here? Am I shipping this? I think at this point I'm just looking for excuses to keep this hand, which probably means that I should be shipping it. And this one I'm going to keep, and I'm going to get super punished by doing so. Did a nap. Yell real loudly and make both noises in like an hour to wake me. Okay, I gotcha. I gotcha, Steps. That's kind of a great draw, actually. Not only do I get to block my opponent's Soul Scar, but we also get to play the explosives on one, and we can blow it up if we want to. That was a very timely top deck. We can also draw it on 2 now. Every modern deck has cards like this. Try convincing Druid players to cut their kitchen finks, and they will tell you it's better than Druid in the matchups it's good in, and you will never convince them otherwise. Yeah, I mean, people have their pet cards. It's fine. I think it's cool. It's just one of those things where, you know, people are just being unrealistic, but they don't realize that they are. Bounce land, please. Okay, can't be too upset about that one. I think I'm developing my mana because I just need the mana. So even though this is bad and this gets me further away from transmuting this, like I actually need a bounce land now in order to transmute this. But I feel like I'm gonna need the mana a lot. Hopefully these Gracers are annoying enough to force my opponent to like overextend or something. Metamorphose number 3 is... it's good for my opponent. Let's say that it's good for them. That really sucks, honestly. I feel like I need more value from these explosives, so I'm just not gonna play it. This is not looking good. This is not looking good. One card on top. That has to be a lightning bolt, isn't it? Ugh, they attack with this. That means they have a 0 drop. God damn it. They have a 0 drop. Yep. This fucking card, man. Why does it get counters? Why don't these counters go on end step? God damn it. Weaken Vestige plus Bounce Land, that's only 2 mana. This is just bad. We're just dead. All right, our 17-18 match run was ended by Noel 10, like it often is. I just could never beat Noel. Wait, am I ahead of him on trophies? I don't think this has ever happened. Yeah. We have the same amount of trophies. Wild. Sure. We have double summoners back here, so I guess... I mean, I'm still going to AmuLIT on 1, but I'm going to do it off of a basic force, I think. Why? Why? I'm assuming that my opponent's on mill, by the way. That's why I'm complaining. What's my rating? It was... I don't know. Oh, maybe this is actually a Thassa's Oracle deck. 1899. 1898. Is this just Advenos? Advenos 2021 version? Ready to put the rock from back in? I just copied the list from the Saturday challenge. I wouldn't play Rod Farm. I think just says split of bounce lands is better. Pretty close to 1902. AmuLIT is broken. Yeah, to be fair, 10 of those wins were with the were on Friday with the 4-color control deck. So. Probably Esper Inverter. No, yeah, I know, but like it's what the Ad Nauseam decks I kind of morphed into. That's what I'm trying to say. With Ad Nauseam losing the monkey, those decks have needed to adapt, and they have kind of started to look a little bit like this. Guess we're gonna get inverted here. Super limited though, like 1650. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that good at limited either, to be honest with you. But like the latest couple of formats have been very kind to me. Not resolved, huh? We still have one land drop. Strong turn 4. Solid turn 4. Above average turn 4. There's no force in this list. Awkward. Ghost Quarter is kind of cute. If my opponent sets up a win through the land, we get to Ghost Quarter it. How's Impulse been so far? Average to bad. We lost. There was one match where it was good, then it was bad, and then it was medium. Like right there, it was medium, right? Like it found my Dryad, but like I didn't need the Dryad. And again, like every time I've seen Impulse in my hand, it would have been a lot better as an Azusa. As in the difference between winning and losing better than Azusa. I mean, Azusa would have been. Shit that. I guess this is technically better. So for Azusa, I mean, I don't think that you want to play just one Azusa. But every time I saw Impulse in my hand, I just wished it was an Azusa. We never played a long game though, so maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that just speaks to the state of the format, and maybe that's yet another reason to not want to be playing this card. So of course we want to lead on the Valakut here so we can AmuLIT into Kalni and then we can Impulse. Even if we didn't draw the Impulse there, like we bottom the Grazer, right? Like we still have Grazers in our deck, so the same thing still applies. Like here we do have like some free mana that we're not using otherwise. So here the Impulse is actually just fits it fits in the curve. But like what am I getting? I'm getting a basic forest. Again, I'd rather, because of what I got, this is obviously the results already to think in, so you shouldn't be thinking of it in this way. But like Impulse actually didn't do anything here. I just spent 1 mana, and like this would have been a lot better as an Azusa again, because now I can, next turn I would be able to set up enough lands to be able to set something up. I think that I'm dying here though. Yep. 3 mana. Or maybe I don't. Well, I mean, I'm dying next turn. Yeah, we're just dead here. So I guess I actually want Bujuki Ball in this matchup, because it just makes those kind of turns a lot more awkward for my opponent. While Kalni Garden is just a waste of a card. Sounds pretty slow. This hand doesn't do anything. This hand is good. It needs help though. We're keeping it though. So this is the business. And then we bottom this. And I guess we bottom to Lurrus. Because we're going to be able to copy one of my opponent's lands. And that's going to be our green source. So if we draw a bounce line, we're gonna be looking like $1 million. If we don't, we're gonna be in trouble. I'm gonna be playing Cavern on Dryad, so even if I find Boros Garrison, I can still cast the Dryad, and the Dryad just fixes my mana. Unreasonably good. Like, honestly, unreasonable. Unreasonable. Completely unreasonable. Firstly, with Impulse, how were the other ones? I fibered with your list, you say. And then this is my second league. What card is Stacy? Oh, it's a Kura Drive Scout. We call her Stacy. She's good. She's a good gal. Great gal. I guess we go for Vestige. Droid Jer are 6. Oh, Spas gives me tier 1 to the droid. Spas, welcome to the Primetime Stronghold. Appreciate your support. Boom, thank you for gifting a sub to droid. I think we're gonna go for Vestige here. I'm gonna go for the haste. My opponent could have a probably some black removal spell, I guess. We've been gotten by Go for the Throat today, so nothing will surprise me ever again. If I get double Valaka, that's 12 plus 8 is... So I can force my opponent to use... What's his name right now? Seems good. Always yes, always yes, always yield. You beat my ass a few times in Magic Online. Great to finally watch from the other side. Welcome. Welcome to the stream, Spaz. Welcome to the stream. Angel's Grace, you got it. But we force my opponent to waste an Angel's Grace, right? And now that's one less combo piece that they have access to under Dobbs. Weird question, but do you find harder just starting to explain all of those triggers and bounces when playing in paper, especially against the screen players at FNM or similar when those were still a thing? No, not really. And I know that AmuLIT is, even though, as I said earlier, I don't think that the deck is particularly hard to play or anything, but it is convoluted. Like, it definitely is convoluted. So when you are just explaining to somebody how dead they are, because you are just going to find Civic Growth Chamber and to Lurrus, and then you're going to bounce it to Lurrus, and then you're going to transmute it. Like, it's a lot of stuff, right? Like, it's a lot of game actions that you're taking, and those could be pretty confusing. But overall, I think like it's just fun. Like it's just fun for me to explain it. I'm a teacher too, so like going over the same thing over and over again doesn't really upset me. Kind of one of those things that you just learn to love, I guess. What was the opponent playing? They were playing Esper Inverter. So it's like basically that the switch that the ad nauseam decks have been trying to do since the banning of the monkey. I'm gonna fetch a basic here, I think. Again, Impulse kind of fits nicely into our curve this time around, which is nice. Smart probably gonna stop me, because I know that Control Freak is a Death Shadow player. So it's possible for them to have Stubborn Nile here. They do. Okay. Some people will switch decks and some stick with the same thing, whatever gets you. Yeah. I think it's cool. That's very cool. Speaking of it being cool. What's a Gracer? So we are 1 mana of Titan. Because I play AmuLIT, I have 4 mana, I play Gracer, that's play this twice, that's 5 mana total. So because we're 1 mana off Titan, I'm gonna Impulse first. Semi-Growth Chamber, which is nice. Play AmuLIT here. I'm gonna play this. Bounce Bujuki Bog, and I guess I'm gonna bog myself. The issue that I have with bogging myself here is that we are getting rid of a land and a sorcery, which are the easiest ones for my opponents to get. So I think even though like it's a little bit counterintuitive, like I'm taking 2 of the Goyf by bogging myself and I'm taking only 1 by bogging them. But because I'm taking a rarer type of card from my opponent's graveyard there, I think it's correct to bog them instead of bogging myself. Like my opponent's gonna push here, right? Like, so. Oh no, they're just taking a point. Which I guess it's also fine. Inquisition. Can't play around that, so. Got me. Inquisition ain't thoughtseize though. Inquisition ain't thoughtseize. I'm not blocking here because, well, first of all, my life total is kind of okay, but also if I block with Gracer, that means that, oh, well, I facepalm. I was gonna say how, like, that enables the Stubborn Denial. And now, oh, okay, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Giant here real quick. Now here's the real question though, do I haste? Because if I haste, my opponent takes it, I die to TBR. Also, we lose to Dismember if I haste. No, it's no Trample Shadow math. I would just assign all 8 points of damage to the Death Shadow. I'm not assigning any points to my opponent. But it's important in case I want to do something else. They obviously don't have Stubborn Isle, and we're going to have to pay for Pact. But if I attack... and then I can't transmute. Also, if they have Dismember, they just block with the Shadow, and I just get super fucked. But I guess that's also fine. Yeah, this is, I think this is fine. So I'm accepting that I'm dead to TBR, but my opponent could have a lot of other cards that punish me for not doing this. Green, green. Because I'm getting Valakut here. We're getting T-West Valakut. No, because then I have to pay for upkeep, and then I don't have blue sources. So I can't get Valakut. I have to get like Colony Garden. Shadow is going to be a 12-12. Yeah, so I think we just do this. Also, Colony is a lethal threat if my opponent takes this, so that's also nice. Do you feel the deck is more fun to play after the field ban? I do. I do. It has gone a little bit harder, and like you just need to think more. And I like thinking. Like that's what I like the most about the deck, honestly. Just makes me think. So I do enjoy it more. It's less obvious, right? Like imagine if we had access to field, like that's just a no-brainer, right? Like we attack, we make 8 zombies. How does my opponent ever come back from that, right? My opponent can't really beat anything. It's just what it is. Like it was just so simple and anticlimactic, you know what I'm saying? But like now there's a lot of thinking to be doing, right? Like my opponent just took the damage, which I think it's correct, in order to be able to try to win with TBR, which again I think it's correct. And like here, if my opponent attacks, we're just fucked. Like I'm gonna block with the Grazer, but if my opponent has a TBR, I guess technically it's correct for me to block with the Plant, because TBR kills me anyway. Locksuck TBR? Nope. Sweet. Explosives, explosives. Probably want these cards. I don't think I want Baloth. Go Squatter out. I guess my opponent is playing Stubborn Denial, so that's kind of a nod towards Grazer as opposed to Explore. So definitely worth a consideration there. We need to make one more cut. I guess we're just cutting Radiant Fountain. I'd rather have access to my colored sources, I think. Nah, I think that Dismember is just really tough to leverage for us. This is the kind of hand that I'm just really sad to keep, but on the other hand, like I just can't ship this, right? It's very possible that this hand is just not good enough. If my opponent has any sort of reasonable Death Shadow draw with turn 1 discard spell into turn 2 nonsense and whatnot, but with my opponent playing blue, I'm valuing Cavern of Souls a little bit higher. On a scale of 1 to fuck yeah, how do you feel about Old World or Summon Respect? Definitely fuck yeah. 100% fuck yeah. There's the feast. Old border better than new border, 100%. We had a long, detailed discussion about how much better old border is than new border. Talked about it for a while. I think I'm bugging. Not too much value in gaining life, but there's definitely a lot of value in vomit. There's definitely a lot of value in slowing down my opponent from like being able to what's the card that they play? I forgot the name of the card they play. Traverse the urban world. Card Perforant is the most boring version of everything. Sounds about right. It's a cute play. Very strong. Just dismember their own dude. Am I dead? Not dead, but close. Show me what you're made of, Adventurous Impulse. Show me what you're made of. Oh, just stubborn L. So you're telling me that once again, if this had been an Azusa, this would have potentially won me the game, and instead I'm gonna lose because of it? Okay, okay, I'm keeping track. I'm keeping track. I am keeping track of that. Technically not dead. Best kind of not dead. Yeah, I actively dislike foils as well. Definitely feel ya. That's bait. That's bait. You would have lost with Azusa too, I guess. Maybe. But my chances would have been a lot higher, right? I would have given myself a draw step. Instead of just being straight up 100% dead. No outs. Sure. I'm impulsing on one here. I guess I am. No, I'm not. Yeah, I think I'm not. Because... although I guess that if my opponent has Thoughtseize, I'd rather them Thoughtseize my Titan instead of Thoughtseize in my Dryad. But by waiting on the impulse... if my opponent does have a discard spell on one... No, I think I have to impulse on one. Sure, let's get a castle. How's the league going? Impulse has been worse than Dryad every single time I've drawn it. It's worse than Azusa, I mean. It hasn't been unplayable, but it's been close to unplayable and 100% worse than Second Azusa. That's what I was watching out for. Like, I'm imagining that Impulse is going to be like either an Azusa or some more lands. Or like a Turn Timber. And so far, it's been worse than Azusa every time it's shown up. I never got the second Azusa for Impulse. The list I was playing one Azusa before. Yeah, then I think that your list was just bad. Azusa is big game. Susa is big game. I did want to make room for the second one. Yeah, for sure. Susa's very good. Susa is very good. And I think it's more necessary than Dryad, honestly. No blocks. That's where you and I bump heads. Yeah, I don't think it's close. I think that Asusa is just really fucking good. It's a little bit awkward here, but I think we have to chill. Obviously not blocking the big Goifo. We do have to pay for Pact and Upkeep though. No Lumana makes a point at all, boy. It really does. They're getting kind of owned by their greed. Owned by their own mana base. I have to assume that this Primeval Titan is dying here, right? Just gonna get draw stepped, killed again. Nope. Guess it's not. So we're gonna put Jukabog, them. I guess I'm gonna Colony Garden. I guess we could Bojukabog plus bounce. And that means it so... Yeah, that seems better actually. That makes it so the Goif becomes a 0-1. I don't want to transmute here because my opponent doesn't have blue mana, but they do have black mana, so I would be opening my Titan to a discard spell. Okay, we got there. 4-1. I don't like this list. Yeah, Bog plus bounce and Bog was the line for sure. SF to pay respect for no mana. I mean, when you're playing such a greedy mana base, right? You kind of have to accept the fact that sometimes it's just not gonna work. Spider isn't good. Yeah, I never said that the Spider was good. It was something that I was trying out, and it was theoretical, a lot more than it was practical, because I didn't play against Prowess a single time even. Well, I had that card in my sideboard, so I don't even know whether it's supposed to work. Or you put someone in chat? Yeah, I mean, but that's the idea, right? Like you wanna try the cards to see whether the cards are good. One thing that I want to point out is that I didn't miss Hornet Queen at all. Maybe Hornet Queen is just same as Ruric Thar, just cards that were good back in the day. And they had a good reason to be there, and they would come in a variety of matchups, and they would be fine. But it kind of feels like Modern has just completely gone past them to the point where they just don't do what they're intended to do anymore. So really, it's worth it. You were mentioning you didn't like Pact. What was the reason again? What do you mean? Says the man with 45 cold lands in deck. I mean, I'm playing 32 lands, right? Like my opponent is playing 18. I'm almost playing twice as many lands as my opponent. So, like, I do know how bad my mana base is. So in order to make it better, I play more lands. Feels like the trackers are back. Yeah. Tracker has been good. Tracker has been doing what she was always meant to be doing. And it's been living up to the hype. I'm into Tracker right now. I think I like her a lot, and she's been just doing and delivering at doing what she is supposed to do. So like that's cool. Like I'm definitely into Tracker. Maybe 3 is one too many. Maybe 3 is one more that I would like to be playing. Particularly because like the matchups that I feel like are the ones that I feel the least comfortable in are the aggressive matchups specifically. So obviously Tracker doesn't do anything there, and it's taking up slots. So that is definitely a concern. But is Tracker a she? Never realized. Yeah, me neither. I didn't realize until we went to GPLA with my brother, and he bought like a full playmat Tireless Tracker. And when you look at it very, very close, when you look at the art, like super huge, you can actually tell that it's a woman. But you can't really tell when the art is so tiny. It is a beautiful playmat. Have you tried Will Pulliam's list yet? Yeah, it's what we played first, if I know. I mean, I don't know if it's exactly Will's list, but it was Juse's list. That's the one that we played on the first league of the day. I like that a lot better than this list. Been very impressed by Tracker. I could see going down to 2, but I just can't seem to let it go. Yeah, I mean, and that's what we're talking about today, right? Like cards like Tracker, cards like Hornet Queen, cards like Rurik Thar. Like those cards are just so fun. They're so fun. They're so cool, and like just beautiful designs. And they kind of trick you into playing them because they are just cool. They just feel good whenever you cast them, and they feel even more good whenever you see them do their thing. You're like, oh, ha ha ha, I so gotcha or whatever. And it's just like, maybe like it was fine. In the case of Tracker, I'm not saying that it's unplayable. I'm saying Rurik Thar is unplayable, and Hornet Queen is very close to unplayable. But I'm saying like Tracker is great, but I'm not sure that it's three slots great. It's definitely 2 slots great right now. I think that I would be comfortable playing two Tireless Trackers, and I wouldn't feel terrible about it. But the third one seems like one too many. I really miss Rurik though. Yeah, for sure. Does Jose stream? Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes he does. If you want to hear about Jose, you can always, listen to the podcast. In Germany, it's obvious because she has female pronouns. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Would be fun to see you play a Titan Battle strategy closer to the earlier list, but with more Tracker. I mean, you do listen every week. Oh, nice. Well, I mean, that's kind of what I was doing with the Green Grad Reclaimer that I was trying to get back, right? We do have Trackers in the sideboard. And then I tried this one. This is another one that I tried with 3 Tireless Trackers. Lots of Tracker content out there. Tracker is one of my favorite cards of all time. Anyway, back to this list. It's cool. Like, it's fine. It's just one of the many ways that you can play AmuLIT. I think this card is not very good though. I'd rather this be a second Azusa. And maybe you could have like 2 impulses. You could have a second Azusa here, 2 impulses. The nice thing about just doing this and just turning this into like a turn timber and this into an explosives, the nice thing about that is that you also get a free cyber slot. So that's pretty hot for sure. Also, this card I don't think is good right now. I wouldn't play this card. People are not really playing Ashiok because Ashiok is just not particularly great. And like this just doesn't really answer anything. Like I'd rather just have a better card. Beast Within is just a bad card. Beast Within was never good. It was always a necessary evil, and right now it's just an unnecessary evil. So there's pretty much no reason for you to be playing that card. And Force of Vigor is just such a significantly better option. Was it because I expect sort of Tron in mana? Yeah, I don't think I would consider that. Like if you expected a ton of Tron, you should be playing maybe Raminap, or you should be playing like a second Ghost Quarter or a Tectonic Edge. If you're expecting stuff like that, that's what you should be trying to do. Like Beast Within is for Ashiok. Beast Within is exclusively for Ashiok, and then you have a couple of extra uses for it, you know? But yeah, so basically what am I trying to say here? So like Beast Within is not a card that you're excited to put in your sideboard, right? And it is a card that you only play in your sideboard because of a card that we actually do struggle a lot against, and it's not easy for us to answer. And it has the marginal upside of being good in some other matchups. For sure, it's great against Tron. No arguments there. But if what you're worried about is Tron, then you're just playing the wrong card, in my opinion. Because if you're worried against Tron, then you're worried about Tron, then you should be playing cards that are actually a lot better against Tron. Like Ghost Squad is probably the number one, I would say. I guess it's between Ghost Quarter and Tech Edge. Those are like the two ones that, particularly with the comeback of Scape Shift, I feel like Tech Edge has become a lot better. I want to try what you were saying at the start of the league. Whoa, what is that? Battlements? Yeah, there are a lot of things to be trying out. There are just so many freaking things to be trying out right now. It's great. Going slightly more in our Dryad. Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of my point. Also, like, I think you really want another basic forest. 3 basic forests has felt definitely lackluster in this league that we just played. And it was like a super low sample size, right? But 4 fetchables with 2 fetches seems like the ratio just doesn't really. I went back to 4 basics. Yeah, for sure. Like you have to change something like that. But yeah, I mean 9-1 a day. So for all of the AmuLIT naysayers out there, GTFO, AmuLIT is great. AmuLIT is great. I mean, it's not great. It's just fine. It's just one more deck that is very, very playable in the current Modern format, which is absolutely delightful, by the way. Modern has been nothing short of incredible. Man, I can't believe we had stuff like Udo, Oko, like all of that nonsense. I'm so happy to hear this. Why the hell don't my results show on the sides? I don't care. Didn't AmuLIT used to play instant strings? Yes, Ram, but steerings is good whenever you're playing Karn. If you're not playing Karn, then steerings is it's basically like Impulse. It's just not a great card. People like Modern when Gentleman John is playable. Yep, that's true. That's true. I don't think John is particularly playable right now, but it's cool. I did like the Mardu Stoneblade list a lot. There was a Mardu Stoneblade list that topated the Mana Traders thing. It was by Musasabi, who actually Musasabi is a person that has been doing great with AmuLIT, which is really cool. But yeah, this is that list is very cool. I have liked that list a lot. Also, I really need to fix my deck thingies. I wish there was like another place where I could save all of this, but for historical purposes. I'm actually working in Modern Stoneblade right now. Yeah. Stoneblade is pretty cool. Sisu Paramaster, Liliana Crossfire. Yeah, exactly. That's what that list was playing. So you should check out the Mana Traders top 8. Totally fine with John being a thing. Oh yeah, big time. Same here. When John is a thing, all the AmuLIT players in the world rejoice. Alright folks, that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy what you saw, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. You can get notified whenever new videos get uploaded to the channel. And yeah, have an amazing rest of your day. Take care.